Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the School of Growth. My name is Samuel Oluwagbami. Right, at the School of Growth, our assignment is to ensure that you get clarity in every area of your life, especially for people in seasons of transition. Today, as usual, I have a very special guest in the studio here with me. He is a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University and he has obtained a degree in physiotherapy. He is also a friend and a mom, as we call it, and he's the former vice president of the First Class Students Fellowship, amongst other things that we'll be discussing. We are going to be discussing about his life generally, balance, and all of those things. So, welcome with me, Mr. Tolulope Ogunyemi.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate the warm welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so it's good to have you in the studio. So, fun fact, Mr. Tolu was my senior in secondary school, so Senior Tolu. Oh wow, it's good to have you here and everything. Like it's been awesome. I think I've known you for a while now, like at least, even not closely, but I mean from afar. And yes, I really celebrate at least what I see you do, and I know you are even doing much more.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we are going to be talking about balance generally. Even just from afar, I realized, I noticed that you're in so many things, right? And I mean, just being in college alone is a whole lot. Then combining it with church and business and everything. So for you, what would you say growth is? What would you say has been like your growth? Would we call it trajectory now? Like how has it been like for you? And what would you call your own definition of growth?
Well, good evening, everyone. Tolulope is my name. Growth. Well, there is, for me, I would say growth is not automatic. Because many people believe or think that growth is like automatic. The only form of growth that is automatic should be biological growth. Even at that, you need to feed yourself with something and all that to have, except you want to be sculpted, right? So for growth for me is an intentional act, something you're very, very intentional about. And yeah, it's just, going from where you are to where you want to be. You understand that kind of thing. So yeah, basically.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. So, what would you say? At some point, I was trying to, I was discussing with you, and before we started shooting, and we talked about the fact that you're into a lot of, things, especially when you're on
Oh
campus,
yeah.
right? So, I would love you to help me now to recap just some of those things. You acted in fellowship, you were at some point chairman of the electoral petition committee, and you said you also run your freelance business even as a student. Then there was one or two other things you mentioned.
And I was at stand last year.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole lot on its own. Yeah, I can tell you that for sure.
I was an
Yes.
instant class rep, and I was for my group. I was a clinical rep
Wow.
in clinic here in the hospital.
Wow. And I know that you guys in college you also do this like is it clinicals, what do we call it now? Like
Rotation, clinical
yeah, and and all of those things. So how were you able to balance it, and what will you say is the right way for a student to do all of these things?
Okay, well, one thing that has kept me going when it comes to balancing things well is that you create a space for everything and you put everything in their spaces. So I learned that I think sometimes back, just create a place for everything and you put them in their places. For instance, you don't find me in the library when I'm supposed to be in church. Okay, so I know that 7 p.m. Wednesday, Friday, I'm supposed to be in church. Then I will be in church, right? And you won't find me in church when I'm supposed to be in the library. You understand? So just creating a structure, creating like a place for
structure.
Like, yeah.
Wow, that's actually very simple but so powerful,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but what would you say is would I say what would you say is your thought for people that they know what growth is, they know where they want to be, right? And it seems that like they put structures around it, but sometimes it feels like the structure is kind of limiting more than helping them. So you hear people say things like, I don't like to have a timetable, or even as funny things like I don't even want to have it to do this. Like why would you not have it to do this? But they'll say like it's kind of restricts them. So what's your opinion about that?
Well, I believe we are all different, right? What works for me might not necessarily be what will work for you. But
Okay.
there are certain things that should work for everybody,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You can't be a believer now and say that you won't pray. No, you don't say, okay, prayer is stressful, so
Yes, yes.
I would rather not pray or something, or I won't study God's word. No. All right, so there are things that should work for everybody. All right, so planning your day should, I believe it's something that should work for
For
everybody.
everybody.
Yeah, especially if you are looking into achieving a particular goal. So why not? You should train yourself into getting used to basic things that would help you manage your time very well. So I believe it's a mindset thing. All right, so start with the mindset. Why is this thing actually boxing you up? I don't think to-do list or things like to-do list, reminders and things like that should be a struggle, right? It's just to help you. And
Yeah.
most times the things that will help you are not necessarily interesting or sweet. Let's say for instance, most of the meals that we eat that are very
Yeah.
sweet, they are detrimental to our health. But the
Mm.
ones that are like bitter, so to speak, are the ones
Yes,
that are
yes, yes.
you understand? So you just have to give yourself to that discipline. Give it all it takes to see that you are going, giving it all it takes to see that you are actually putting in the effort past and I think it's just a matter of time.
Well, beautiful. I was going to also ask about, like, is it possible for one to, what's the word now? For one to excel? Like, I mean, can you do church as though that was the only thing you're doing and excel so much at it, right? And somebody also sees your academics and like, with this result I'm seeing, you probably did only academics, and with this, just like that, can you,
Yeah,
can you be excellent at everything, at the height of it? I think that's the
yeah,
one
you
thing.
can. It happened when I was a student.
For
So a part two student, I think she was in part two, then walked up to me, Pastor, how you doing? I said, I'm fine. And I have class or something. And she was shocked. Like, are you a student? I'm like, of course. I'm a student, of course I'm saying. And when I'm in class too, my classmate thinks, it's only book, and all
wow.
that. People I work with, my clients think,
You are
this is
just full time
dedicated
in
and all that.
business,
So,
yeah.
you can actually be in so many things and do them excellently.
Mm.
Right, it boils down to you knowing, all right, what works for you, and giving it your attention, giving everything you need to do your attention, and disciplined. Okay, so I was surprised. Right? I'm not giving another student. This is called the student fellowship. So
Yeah.
I'm not
Wow,
so
wow,
yeah,
that's
that was
true.
it for me, and just discipline basically, and probably you should talk about distractions, focus.
Oh, wow. So another thing we want to talk about is the issue of mentorship actually.
Yeah, I was going to talk
Yeah,
about having a template. Yeah.
exactly. So what's are your thought patterns around that? Some people can't find a mentor. Maybe they don't find the right people around them. So some people are of the opinion, right, that you must have someone that you have direct access to. And I've had situations where some people had direct access, but they felt like the access was not amounting to anything. So as a person, how do you locate a mentor and follow through?
Yeah, what I would say is, first and foremost, yeah, um, Bible tells us that we are not of ourselves, right? So we don't just do things anyhow as to we go in our life. We don't. Right? We've been bought with a price. Okay. So when it comes to locating a mentor and all that, the one who created you knows who would actually lead you on that journey, right? So it's something to pray about, basically. So that's my point.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
pray about who your mentor should be,
Yeah.
and when you pray and you receive this person, people would walk up to the person and I believe in mentorship, definitely, I do, because someone said something and it's really stuck with me. It said experience is not necessarily the best teacher. Okay, we often hear experience is the best teacher. No, it says other people's experience
Could
could actually
be.
be the
Wow,
best
so
teacher.
true, so deep,
So
so deep.
when you have a mentor, you don't have to necessarily go through what I've gone through. The other side. So
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, so I think we talked about distractions and all the other things. So, and I really want us to talk about it, right? On the matter of distractions, right? The distracted generation, for the lack of better word, right? Like, we are so distracted as the generation, right? Because of obvious reasons, social media and stuff. So I think the attention span now is like going is just reducing by the day, right? If your content is not something to be appreciated in 3 5 seconds, and stuff like that. And that is not just social media, right? It's affecting us in every area of life. So how, as a young person in this generation, how do you deal with distraction, especially when you know that you have a journey ahead of you, as regards to your assignments and your purpose?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to the subject of distraction, one antidote would be focus. All right, focus, no matter what. Focus and discipline, the work and the gloves. Yeah. So what does discipline mean? Simply means doing what I'm supposed to do. All right, even when I don't feel like doing it. All right. So for instance, everybody, it's just natural for us to scroll through Instagram.
I like that, doing what I'm supposed to do, even when I don't feel like doing it.
Just do it. Right? It's just natural for us to just keep scrolling on Instagram.
And you check that, 4 hours, 5 hours.
Meanwhile, you have things to do. Alright. Someone that is focused and someone that is actually serious about goals would know that this is actually detrimental to my goals. Okay, for instance, have I read today? So I know I'm supposed to be reading like so time, then I will wait by that time no matter what. Okay, shutting up distractions, external voices. For instance, putting structures that would help you stay accountable when it comes to being distracted. For instance, do not disturb is one of the structures I like to place. It's very difficult for you to just call me that Tolu, let's go somewhere. Right? So it's very difficult. So these are structures that and you must strike a balance. Of course, you don't just shut out relationships in your life just because you want to focus. You can't do that alone, right? So just find ways to strike that balance. So how do you manage distractions? Focus, discipline, and in gloves. Well,
beautiful. Yeah, so we're going to be shifting a bit now to the concept of relationships. So like, how do you feel relationships have helped you personally in your journey of growth, and how do you think it will help people in general as well?
Yeah, relationship. Shout out to my friends. Shout out to my friends. They serve as like my accountability partners, so to speak. They might not know, right? But having people around you that believe in what you do is a lot. Alpha, you said you have this exam coming up. That alone, someone is watching out for me. I have to, God, you understand what I'm saying? So, relationships, you cannot, you need people around you, definitely. Right? So, for me personally, I think my friends are my greatest support. Yeah.
Wow. So, like, as regards that, some people feel of the opinion that we can have friends just for social and they're not necessarily doing anything. What is there a balance to that? Like, we have they are just casual friends. Like, we gist and stuff, but there's no purpose, right?
And I think that they shouldn't be called friends.
Okay.
Call them acquaintances.
Okay.
And so your friend there should be a purpose to every for your friendship, right? So why in my life? And it gets as serious as even praying about what role this person, should play in your life, even as a friend, right? So I believe your friendship must be purposeful. You don't just go out there, just spend time like you said, social gatherings and all that. No, those are your acquaintances.
Wow.
Yeah, your friend should be someone you can share things with. Even the Bible says a friend, sticks closer than a brother, right?
Yeah.
So you should be able to share things, right? Talk about things, have a goal, have a purpose, have what you are actually working on, right? So,
Wow.
yeah.
So if you were to ask, like, if you were to give, would I say, a word of advice to your younger self that is 5 years ago, now you're a graduate, right? Thanks to OAU, who spends more than a number of years, but I mean, the 5 year course as it were, and you are done now. There are many things you are happy about, but I mean, what would that been, that advice you would have loved to give your younger self that probably you did not have?
Well, I would have told my younger self to take growth more seriously. Now, the time I remember that when I got serious in my life was, I think, just three. That was when my mom got me a red lamp. Shout out to my mom.
Wow, beautiful.
She got me a red lamp. So,
Oh.
I had to start reading for junior Y. Then I think that was when I started taking my life seriously.
Yes, wow.
So from there, I became the school timekeeper. Like, hey, so responsibilities here and there. Secondary school, I was choir.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I can't even remember very
Yeah,
clearly. But yes. That's true.
I was.
That's
I
true.
was at some point. Isaac was the president.
Yes, Isaac was the
Yeah.
president. Yes.
I was. So responsibility, I'm like, I think there's one to my life that people are seeing. All right, so if I'm telling myself, or a 5-year-old Tolulope, tell him to take the road more seriously.
Wow, yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So, I think I would allow you to also give like probably other thoughts on your mind. But final question from me: what's going to be like a step-by-step process? Some people think life is fate, like FATE, right? Like so. Let's just see how it goes and everything. So if there was to be like a step-by-step process to knowing that I'm charting out my life for a glorious destiny. What would that look like? So that in such a way that if there is something like that, that means nobody literally has an excuse. So what would that chart be like?
Yeah, first and foremost, and it can never be emphasized, right? Being a believer, okay, accepting the life of Christ. That's the starting point of everyone.
Yeah, so true.
All right, so if you are not a believer, then I think this is an opportunity for you to accept the life of Christ, and that's the starting point. And when you begin to walk with God, things will open up to you. You take your Christian devotion seriously, right? There are some things that would just automatically flow. How do I say it? Now let's picture a 5-year-old girl praying that I want to get pregnant. She will not get pregnant.
Definitely.
Right? She will not get pregnant. But there's a certain age she gets to,
Yeah.
okay, that it flows. Pregnancy flows if she
Yeah.
gets you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
at that point, it's not a prayer
It's not a prayer point.
that,
So
so
true.
it starts with accepting the life of Christ, being a believer, having not just a casual believer, right? Having a walk with God. Okay, and I believe this is what affects all the aspect of our lives, right? Even academically, you can't have the life of Christ and think mediocrity,
Yeah, so true.
right? So if you know that you are here as an ambassador representing God, then you would put in the effort to actually represent Him well. So it boils down to accepting the life of Christ, knowing your identity, right? Knowing your identity. When you know your identity, it tells on all the aspects of your life.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a way you just face life with the mindset of God is with me. I call it confidence, right?
Yeah.
So it will definitely tell on every aspect of your life. So I think those are the steps.
Yeah.
Is there anything I'm missing?
Yeah, no. Why I'm saying that is that like so true, but I mean, there are some believers that are still like, okay, I mean, I'm not a believer. I'm doing everything. It's like I'm putting in the work, but I cannot necessarily even still be confident about what the future holds, as it were, because you can be a believer and say, okay, let's say career-wise, maybe I want to be a doctor, for instance. You are in school, you are doing all it takes. You are a believer, but yet there's still this fear of the unknown, right? So
Yeah, I get. First and foremost, no believer should have doubt as what the future holds. Why? Because the one that holds the future lives right inside of it, right? So I believe just knowing this, basically. Now, if I tell you you have to write an exam in medicine that will determine the next few years of your life, you are naturally you ought to be scared because you have no knowledge about what's really happening at the moment. I think
That's
but what if I told you that the exam would just be, ABCD? Every form of fear you have or doubts and all that, it disappears.
yes.
Why? Because you know something. I've given you an expo. Right? So having the knowledge that the one that holds the future actually isn't you, And I think that's a game changer. Wow, that's a game changer. So go for knowledge. Go for knowledge.
Wow. I
Yeah.
think a lot of things really boils down to, like, knowing God for yourself.
Yeah.
Many, as I think there was an episode we had here where we talked about the fact that there are many people that are believers, but they find difficult. They haven't known God. They don't have a relationship. Yeah, I think that's the word. And just for emphasis sake, too, we're showing out that God is a very simple God, right? I guess we're showing that it takes a man to complicate God.
Yeah.
And that's so true. That's so true. So I think even now that we're talking about balance and purpose and everything, it all boils down to, ensuring that as a person, right, you do not just do religion, you don't just do church, right, but you look forward to having that intimate relationship with God, right, through the person of the Holy Spirit. Yeah, so we're wrapping up already.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know if there are any words you'd also like to share as regards all that we've discussed, or even a bit, outside of what we've talked about.
Oh, it's been nice, being in the studio so far.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been nice. Well, nothing much. I just want to encourage someone out there. The journey of growth might not necessarily be an easy one. To be sincere, to be honest, it takes discipline, like I said, doing what you have to do. You don't feel like it. So, for instance, for your prayer life, for instance, you're trying to build a prayer life, a prayer culture. There are times where you don't feel like it, right?
Yes.
But you go out anyway.
Yeah,
Do
that's
it
true.
anyway. There are times you won't pray for a week. Go again.
Yeah.
Pick up yourself and
go
just
again.
go again. Keep growing. Never give up on the journey of growth. Okay, and
Never
that
give
journey never ends.
Hmm.
Right? We keep on growing. We keep on growing. So go again.
Wow.
And
Never.
grow again.
Yeah, go again, grow again. Never give up on the journey of growth. So true. So true. I think there are times where, because you gave up, like 1 week without prayer, as like the example you gave, can just mean for someone 3 months without prayer, because they're like, I've missed 1 week, like I can't do it, let me just abandon this thing. And the same thing with every other area of life. I think it's important that we never give up. Wow, it's been an amazing time with you, Mr. Ogunyemi Tolulope. I celebrate you so much. Thank you so much for coming around. It's been an honor. I really do not take this for granted. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Yeah. So we've come to the end of another episode of the School of Growth. Please do well. I mean, as they say, as YouTubers, like, share, subscribe. If this blessed you, share with someone. And thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye. Bye.